Have you ever watched someone in your field of work land the exact win that you've been working towards and you felt your stomach drop? And you're happy for them, you really are. Yet within you, there's a voice that says, what about you? Why are you not there yet? What's wrong with you? Well, I had such a moment or an experience this week. A woman in my business strategy circle landed a multi-six-figure deal, and I spent a few days this week reflecting on why it isn't me and what was triggered within me, to the point where I realized the exact identity that I was holding that was making my life miserable. For years, I've been trying to achieve my way to a level that was already mine. If you have ever felt that you're running out of time to be the version that you're meant to be, stay with me in this episode, because what I uncovered might actually save you a decade of pushing and misery. Hi, my name is Ajita. Welcome to my YouTube channel. With over 20 years of corporate executive experience, I am now the spiritual advisor, consciousness architect for tech leaders, entrepreneurs, and executives, upgrading their internal leadership consciousness and capacity to lead at visionary scale. What I share in this video is my live business building experience. I am not building this business from hustle and grind. Instead, I'm using 7 I's as the principles to build this business. The 7 I's are infinite field, intention, identity, imagination, intuitive decisions, inspired actions, and inevitable results. This is my live case study of taking my business from $0 to $4.4 million, all with the application of the principles of the 7I, what I call the 7I spiral pathway of conscious creation, and also using my proprietary Epic Leadership Operating System framework, where E stands for Emotional Operating System, P for Physical Operating System, I for Intellectual Operating System, and C for Consciousness Operating System. Week by week, you will see invisible shifts creating visible results. We are now on week 17. Let's see what has unfolded. Before we deep dive into this episode, I want to urge you to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, hit the bell icon to be notified of any new videos that I post every Tuesday. And of course, please share your thoughts via comments with me. That keeps me going and keeps me encouraged on this journey. This week on the outside looked like complete breakdown. Many emotional moments through the entire week. There were days and times where I was simply emotionally in tears, deep pain processed from within the psyche, and the sleep was completely disrupted. And there was a lot of intellectual operating system and consciousness operating system aspects that were showing up big time this week. And a lot of things that were unfolding on the external reality was bringing up all these things within my internal operating system. What I do want to do before I jump into showing how all of these events that caused the internal operating system dissonance led to the breakthrough that I had towards the end of the week, I also want to celebrate. I realized that last week I actually hit the very first revenue goal of making $10,000 of my $4.4 million. And I never even quantified the amount, never even celebrated it in the previous video. So I wanted to take this moment to share with all of you that are wondering, okay, where exactly is she in her $4.4 million journey? I'm $10,000 close to the end result of $4.4 million. I'm celebrating that because one of the biggest learning aspects and lessons for me personally is I'm so used to seeing what's not there. So it was so easy last week as I hit the first revenue of getting 2 clients into my Epic Leaders Collective group offering that I launched just last week. It was so easy for me to just say, yeah, I signed up. I had 2 people sign up paying in full, but I never even took a moment to celebrate the revenue that has come through, because that is breaking the barrier of me already moving away from the zero starting point, because I'm at $10,000 revenue as of today. And also because this is the tendency we have by default. We tend to look at what's not happening when we set a goal, and we forget that there is already movement happening towards the goal that we are taking for granted. So from this week on, I'm going to be sharing with you any additional revenue uptick that's there in my business, because that's what you all are here for, to see, okay, how is her applying the non-hustle grind principles and the 7I principles and the leadership operating system that she has created, the Epic Leadership Operating System framework, how is it really helping her business, besides, of course, all the inner growth that she keeps talking about. This week, I did start the week with a kickoff in my Epic Leaders Collective, and boy, I have started channeling a lot of the content is coming through so beautifully. The 7 eye spiral for conscious co-creation, the pathway, is also going to be a proprietary framework that I'm bringing about as my trademark approach to how to co-create consciously as a leader in this new world where we are being bombarded with technology advancements and a lot of complexity and flux. The content is coming across beautifully for the Epic Leaders Collective. There's also an additional aspect that has come through, which I've made as part of describing exactly what is leadership operating system. And the view that I got, the logo that I created last week for my business, is actually an upward spiral. And that is the same visual I'm using for showing how when a leader walks into the Epic Leaders Collective group, or the voyage, I call it a voyage or a journey, they start at the lowest rung of the spiral, which is basically what I call the legacy epic operating system, which is the reactive operating system. And then how we start to work through our reactive operating system as a leader and start to move up in the spiral towards creative leadership, which is what I'm calling an upgraded operating system for the leader. So we are going from legacy to a level of upgrade, so version 1.0 to 2.0. And as we climb up the spiral, we are then going to the next level, which is bringing the wholeness as a leader, which is the integral leadership aspect, which maps to the emerging epic operating system for the leader. And at the highest level, on the fourth level of this spiral up at the top, as you reach the epic, is the unitive leadership, which maps to the active epic leadership operating system. It is really full active. You're completely aware of these aspects of you, the internal systems within you, and how are you able to stay more in the awareness of you being a conscious co-creator, that the soul that you are, and the distance or the separation between you as a human and you as a soulful leader is thinning more and more as you reach that epic. So that's the spiral ascent. It's called the Epic Ascent. That's the title for this particular levels that has come through me for taking leaders through this journey. So that's the 4-level ascent of the epic leadership that people are going to experience when they come into the collective. So all in all, this week, I've been creative in terms of what I'm channeling and bringing in as the content for the Epic Leaders Collective group. And it is so beautiful to watch that whole framework come through. There's going to be phase 1, phase 2. Phase 1 is essentially the activation of the Epic Leadership Operating System, going from the legacy version to the upgraded version. And phase 2 is really where you do this conscious co-creation using the 7-eye spiral pathway, which then takes you into the level beyond creative into integral, which is the emerging epic operating system and the active epic operating system. So it's really beautiful to watch the whole journey unfold with a framework, with reference points, and then the modules beautifully coming through. So I'm celebrating all of this because my tendency to, when I get on these videos where I'm recording for the YouTube, is always to look at where the breakdowns are, where the inner work is. But these are 2 big wins that I'm celebrating this week with all of you. Let's go into what exactly was the breakdown and what was the breakthrough this week. So for years, I've spent energy, time, and effort, especially after I've left my corporate career. I've spent a lot of energy and money and time in learning what it is to do business in today's world. Even though I have an MBA that was, I received it, 2 decades ago, the relevance of that MBA and how business is done today in terms of digital marketing and online presence is very different. So when I got into the entrepreneurial journey back in 2019, I had to learn a lot of online social media marketing, ads, and outreach and tools and so many other things. And so I've spent a lot of money and energy and time in not only upgrading myself in working through my own self-awareness and personal development and spiritual growth, I've also invested in business development. What has happened in the process is the entire approach has been seeking answers from outside. Whether you look at my personal development or spiritual development, or whether you look at the business development, for me, both of them assumed by default that there was something outside of me that I needed to learn or master or be educated on before I could, be effective as a business person or as a leader. This week was a wake-up call because having spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in both aspects of my growth, The breakdowns this week, especially after I have had these 4-5 different sales conversations and none of the 50K clients closed for me, bringing awareness to the worthiness. So it became so evident that there is going to be no other course or program that's going to make me remember that I'm worthy. It is something that has to happen from within me. So I meditated intensely this week. I literally went deep within me and said, I'm worthy, I remember. And the key word I'm going to hone in on in today's topic is remembrance. What really landed for me is there is nothing more for me to learn, because at the end of the day, all learning is remembering. So when I am going out there and seeking answers from anyone outside of me, a part of me is expecting and hoping that I will get those answers from other people. All I needed to do is simply quieten my, the noise around me and look within and ask, what is it that is ready to be remembered now? We are constantly remembering the truth of who we are, and we are continuously evolving at the same time. So the key word that I really received this week was, I'm ready to remember. I'm worthy to receive remembrance. That was the word, that was the sentence that I really used, and I said, I'm ready to remember. Whatever it is that I'm ready to remember about me, who I am, what I'm here for, I am ready. And that's what I received this week. And how did I arrive at this shift? The biggest thing for me was the trigger that happened. The trigger of, is there still a part of me that I feel is not worthy of receiving? Is that why I didn't get these clients to say yes? So that put me in a rabbit hole of hunting for more blocks. And this is another thing I want to bring to awareness. A lot of us have been in this personal development journey and spiritual development journey, have gotten so used to looking for the blocks within us that we forget to look for the blessings. And so I consciously said, okay, what if there is no block? What if there's really no block and I'm simply in the process without attachment of really getting in front of the right people? What if the people that are in front of me that I've just talked to are simply there to test whether I've let go of attachment? What if I attracted them to remind myself to let go of attachment? And there's nothing about worthiness there, right? So these are all questions you can ask yourself to not go down the rabbit hole of, constantly looking for blocks. On the flip side, equally becoming aware enough to know, okay, if it is not blocks, then what is really bothering me about these people saying no? Oh, it is my attachment. I want them to say no, yes. What triggered all of this is the fact that I paid for a business strategy program in January, and it finishes exactly a month from today, which is July 1st week. And I'm nowhere close in my mind, nowhere close to hitting the first sale. And I joined that program mainly to land 6-figure deals. And I joined a previous program in 2024 to land a 6-figure deal. All these programs I've landed with the same intention, but the outcome hasn't happened yet. And so a part of me is like, you just wasted money. You have nothing to show for it. This is the narrative. The internal operating system, especially intellectual operating system, was on an overdrive. You have nothing to show for it. You should have gone and done this. Who asked you to follow intuition? Who asked you to go to Silicon Valley? You should have just done what they told you to do. All sorts of stuff. So I had to sit with it. I'm like, oh my God, this is getting so difficult to deal with my own narrative on the internal operating system. And then comes this beautiful, beautiful soul woman within the business strategy circle. She lands a 6-figure deal. And then I ask her, can you share what your positioning is? Because everything she's doing is exactly what I'm doing in terms of the work. But she's positioning it for women. I'm doing it for some other audience. And then she, of course, responds saying, well, it has less to do with positioning. It has to do with embodiment. And I'm like, heck yes, I hear you. And everything she said to me on a voice note, she was kind enough to leave me a 9-minute voice note on all that, she does and how she prepared herself. Every single thing is exactly what I'm doing, literally. But the difference is she had such certainty. She knew exactly what her role was and how she helps people in the energetic way. And she was so certain about it that there is no question about how she shows up. She knows exactly what she's doing when she works with a person and how it changes their life and how it yields to outcomes. And that led me to sit and wonder. It's like, wait a second, she's doing everything that I'm doing. So what am I missing? You see, that's the next question. Here comes the comparison trap. She's doing everything I'm doing. Why am I not landing the result? So you see, there is that strong attachment to results and a strong self-doubt. Not trusting myself enough to say, okay, it's not about anything missing, but it's simply that the right person hasn't shown up yet, or maybe I'm still preparing or learning and practicing, whatever, right? There's a different narrative I could have gone after. Nope. The intellectual operating system was so hung up on the fact that there is only 4 more weeks in the program. You don't have outcomes yet. You didn't follow what they told you to do. And here is somebody who has landed multi 6-figure deal, exactly doing what you're doing. There's something wrong with you. That's the whole narrative. And here's the beauty. Nobody said anything to me. It is me creating all this within me, because I have an attachment to outcome. I have an attachment to being a success. So I sat with the things that was brought up, and I asked myself, okay, where is all this coming from? Like, what is underneath all of this? And here is what I want to bring to awareness for all of you. When you are so riled up emotionally and your intellectual operating system is beating the heck out of you, and your emotional operating system is also, your nervous system is dysregulated, because you are like, the whole world is falling apart. That's the feeling you are inside, right? When you're in that experience. And in the midst of this, the biggest question I want to ask you is, can you take a pause, step away from the story, and watch what's happening as an observer without being sucked into it? Because when you get sucked into it, you are in the story. You are spiraling with the story. And when you're spiraling with the story, you cannot land in a place of awareness. So I had to consciously stop myself and say, wait, this is all my human acting out right now. So let me step back and ask, okay, what exactly is happening here? Okay, somebody got some result, I didn't. So what meaning am I making about it? That I'm not good enough. What about it? What part of this am I not good enough? Like, what is underneath it? So I had to go from emotional trigger, nervous system dysregulation in the body, to intellectual narratives and stories. Underneath that lies this identity. Somewhere in this whole thing, the identity that I was holding is, I feel like a failure, or I am a failure. That's the core identity. I am a failure. Because I didn't get results in the 6 months time, because I haven't had outcome despite doing what I did, and somebody else who's doing exact same thing has landed a multi 6-figure, I'm a failure. That was the identity underneath. And it's, again, just so I have oscillated between these two extremes of being an extremely open-hearted person, extremely caring, loving person that I am. I give without limits. I have given without limits. I have not even had a sense of boundaries for the longest time in my life. So I've been on this spectrum of completely complying to be liked and loved and accepted and belong, right? That's the whole fear of abandonment story that I spoke about last week. I've been in this spectrum, and then the high achiever in me jumps to the other spectrum on this side, and for her it's all about results, winning, success. My whole name means I'm a winner. Ajita in Hindi or Sanskrit means somebody who cannot be won by others. So I'm, by default, my name, frequency of my name is winner. And so for me, I can't fail. It's just not okay. The whole being was triggered with this. You didn't get results. You look like an idiot, and somebody else did it. You couldn't do it. It's the same work. And so on this spectrum of me, the whole I'm a failure identity cropped. This one is I'm abandoned. This one is I'm a failure. So this week I danced with this identity underneath me. I'm like, what the heck? Who even said I'm a failure? Is that even true? No, it is completely a lie. It's a lie that I have bought into for the longest time, trying to prove myself that I'm good enough, that I can deliver, that I am a success, that whole reactive operating system was on overdrive. So, talk about me launching Epic Leaders Collective with an Epic Ascent model where the reactive operating system is the starting point. So my message to anybody, whether you are in the collective or not, is this. It is not that once you step up to an upgrade, you never go into reactive state, or it's not that once you step up to the emerging epic operating system, which is the integral level, that you never go back to creative or reactive. The difference is, as you ascend in this consciousness as a leader, you are becoming more and more self-aware to the extent where you are not caught in the spiral downward. Instead, you witness it, you see it, you name it, you change it, you shift it. And that happens far more quickly than in the past before. because your operating system is now aware of the very single program that you're glitching on again and again. This week, 3 days, I was stuck in this program glitching over and over until I saw the exact program that I was looping over and over again, my identity statement of I'm a failure. Once I saw it, I was like, okay, this is not true. I had to completely reframe it. This is not true. This is not who I am. I am success. Of course I'm a success. Look at all the things I've done. So that took a level of reprogramming and a lot of tears. For me, my fastest path to nervous system regulation is tears. I just cry. I don't even stop myself. I allow for it. And sometimes I'm getting ready to do makeup, and as I'm doing the makeup, and just when I wear my eyeliner, I will start to tear up. I'm like, what in the world is this? And I don't even stop these days. I'm like, fine, my body is regulating, it's self-regulation with tears. So I just let it. There was a time when I used to feel like my sensitivity was my biggest weakness, but I think it's actually my superpower, because it allows for me to feel so deeply, love so deeply, care so deeply, that makes me me. So I'm absolutely okay with being vulnerable and feel all that I feel, because that's what allows for me to really show up with so much openness and honesty and transparency in this world. And I think that's special, and that requires a deep level of courage. And I will say, without a speck of hesitation, I am courageous, I'm bold, I'm audacious. And it takes a good level of inner work to show up in the world and just be you and say, oh yeah, I effed up, I goofed up, this is what happened this week, but guess what, I learned this and this is how I'm growing. And that's why I'm doing these episodes. And so as this awareness came in and I reframed myself, then I had this question in my mind. This woman who landed that multi-six-figure deal, who does exactly the work that I do with other audiences, she had such clarity on who she exactly is and what she's not. She even told me, I am an activator, but I'm not a healer. I don't nurture. I activate people and I take them on this journey of, towards a certain identity and outcome, which is beautiful awareness. And so then my mind started, wait a second, why do I not know exactly like that who I am and what I do? The human is always in the mix. The human is always like, who are you? What are you? There's a constant quest. Being a seeker is a fun thing. Oh, I can seek this next thing. I'm always seeking. Actually, when I was going through this internal reframing, I was just, praying at the same time, asking, show me the way. Where am I to go next? I've done everything I could do, and I'm not clear what to do next from here. And so then I was shown this visual. You are launching an arrow with a bow. The arrow gets pulled back really to get tension, right? And so I felt like that. I felt like I was being pulled back, more and more, to the point where I feel like, oh my, and every pull felt like a breakdown because I was being stretched. Stretched. And so I'm like, okay, so if I am the arrow in the infinite field, the divine field that I'm part of, and the field is really what's launching me, and I'm being stretched as an arrow, right, in the bow to be launched, that feels great. But then what is this about, where am I going? I thought I was going to Silicon Valley, but apparently it looked like it was just another stretch for me to learn what it is to embody my full self. So that became a test. And then, okay, so that's not where I'm launching. Okay, so where am I going next, right? This constant pull back that I'm feeling. And the visual that I got was I'm being redirected. There's something being redirected for me before the launch unfolds. At least this is how I'm interpreting it. Now, all of this could be gobbledygook. Who knows? I will come back to this video 10 years from now. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I was going here, and then I thought I was going there. Then I ended up going here. It's interesting. Life can only be made sense of looking backward, or as much as we try to connect the dots looking forward. I have an intention. I've set the intention. I know it's $4.4 million impacting people, whether it's $1 million clients like I saw in the meditation one day, or is it, 4,000 people joining in one of my group programs. I don't know. I really don't. I'm being asked to stay still in the place of not knowingness and allow for me to move with the knowing. The what is clear, stay in the knowing that the what is clear. It is through my business, through the service that I offer, I'm landing at that $4.4 million revenue. I'm 10K into it already. The rest of it, I'm going to have to trust and move. I'm moving because my ads are getting launched this week. For me, what has truly landed this week, which is what I want to leave you with, is remembrance. We are not here to learn as much as we may use that term. We are here to truly remember who we are and what we are here for. I've been reading this book this week called Friendship with God by Neil Donald Walsh, and one of the quotes that really stayed with me is this. He says that feeling is a response to what is happening, but being is a choice, meaning that you can feel sad, you can feel unhappy. That is a response to something happening outside of us. But to be happy is a choice, and you don't need anything outside of you to be happy. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to be joyful. And so that has been staying with me all week this week. In that book also, there's a very important part of developing friendship with God, where he talks about the way we help God is to remember who we are. Remember. Bring to awareness again that we are a member of God. Remember of God. So powerful, right? And the whole week, this word remembrance and remembering has been coming to me as, of course, remember who you are. Because once you remember who you are fully and say yes to it, you are going to be magnetic. And that magnetism is coming from a place of you being certain of who you are and what you are here to bring to this world. So I'm really celebrating that as the biggest breakthrough this week for me, because no amount of external success would have brought this level of awareness and truth to me in full awareness and embodiment of who I am. It is remembering who I am and staying in that knowing that people that come into my field are going to remember who they are. And that's part of the gift that I have to offer to this world. So quick review of the epic lens of this week for me. Emotionally, there was comparison, there is grief, there is a strange, clear joy after all this grief that has been cleared through tears. Clear movement of emotional energy because of my tears and the emotions that I felt this week. Intellectually, the narrative was, I have to earn my worthiness, I must work hard. And I think the shift for me is I've done enough. All the work has been done, bringing back that awareness again. And I am already in overflow, financial overflow, cash overflow. That's the reprogramming I did for myself. And physically, I was exhausted, broken sleep. And despite that, I did enjoy Pilates this week for the first time. And I absolutely loved it, that I paid for 20 classes in full. And I said, I'm coming every Saturday because it was the best thing I could have done for my body this week. And consciousness level, the biggest identity shift for me is that I am a failure to I'm already a success. I'm a thriving success. And that I think was a really big shift for me this week. And underneath all of that is me remembering. I remember. And I am remembrance. I am remembering. All three I am statements are very powerful shifts for me this week. So your takeaway is this. When you see someone else's success and you feel yourself shrink or feel jealous or envious, whichever spectrum you may fall in, please remember what story got fired in your operating system and work through it. I want you to take a moment and do the same for yourself, because when you find that I am statement within you that is triggered by someone else's success, you get to reprogram it, you get to change it and create your own new narrative. This week, the outer actions have been pretty interesting and fun. I hired my very first contract employee this week, and it happens to be someone very close to me, and it was very intuitive a decision, and it's also going to be helpful for them in the process. So I'm really, really happy about that decision. It is going to also prepare me for the influx of clients I'm going to have in Epic Leaders Collective program. The second thing is signing up for this 20-week Pilates class. I think that was an instant decision, and I'm going to be traveling to Malibu in California, September, for a week. It is part of my inner circle mastermind that I'm in with my mentor and meeting the other beautiful souls there. So that's also decided. I'm booking the tickets this week, and I'm going to be living or staying in a beautiful home that's gorgeous looking, overlooking the ocean, and it's going to be an absolute treat and a pleasure for me doing that in September. And of course, all the content and the channeled intellectual property that has come through me for the 7i Pathway Conscious Co-Creation Spiral, as well as the Epic Ascent for the Epic Leaders Collective. So here's what I want to leave you with this week. I spent this whole week uprooting, uncovering, and shifting a deep-seated identity within me that was triggered by something that happened outside of me. And the truth that actually gave me a breakthrough was remembering who I truly am. If you feel at any time that you are behind, that you are not where you would want to be, that you're behind and time, you're running out of time, whatever be that narrative, I want you to pause and remember. Please remember yourself that you belong in the infinite field and your place is unique and special to you. And the more you spend time remembering who you are, the easier it is going to be to align with that path of your soul and be the light that you came here to be. You are not behind, you are remembering. This is week 17. And before you go, please like the video, place a comment on which part of this resonated deeply for you, and share it with others that may benefit from content like this. I will see you next week.